Hey everybody, it's me, Liam here. Now I got a review for you guys. Last time we talked, take a look at the one of the most underwhelming things ever. A John F. Kennedy memorial album collection of speeches. Was not that interested. Well, now I'm going to look at something I'll probably enjoy talking about more. Well, nothing. People say, oh, nothing's better than starting off with a David Bowie review. Are they true? Yeah, well, let's look at a compilation first. And then we can talk about an album. You know, maybe I'll take a look at albums like, say, like a pair of albums like, say, Space Odyssey to the end of his career with, like, Black Star, but only talk about, like, Never Let Me Down and Black Star, because they wouldn't have all the other albums. But hey, you know, ain't nothing saying Space Odyssey. I'll take a look at you. I'll take a look at all those other albums, probably. But for now, this Space Odyssey, you're going to be lost in space. What? And today, we're taking a look at the very first David Bowie compilation. Is it the first? Wait, I do not know if it's the first. I'm going to take it as being the first. Well, yeah. So this is his very first compilation, Changesonebowie, named after the classic Changes from his Hunky Dory album. Is this a good album? Well, wish me luck. I was actually thirsty. Okay. Let's begin. So the cover. Is this a good cover? So the cover's in black and white. Now, to be fair, you won't recognize it, because look. But all I'm saying, a black and white cover, nah, it's not doing me. It does overmatch the aesthetic of the Station album. Now, I do have the Station album. I didn't pull it out, even though I could have pulled out every album where a song appears on, or should have appeared on. But okay, yeah. So the font here is Changes. One is capitalized. Or not capitalized, sorry. It's red, it's bold, obviously meaning, hey, this is the first one. Probably if they were gonna make more. And they did make another. We'll get to that later, Bowie. And then, it's in the same font as Station. And then on the spine also continues the coloration. And the back is very simple, albeit kind of complicated. It's the song listing, but with no spaces. We're trying to recreate this in, say, spell check. Yeah, this back cover is spell check's Mortal Enemy. I do own the 2016 reissue, so it comes in this nice polylined sleeve. It's plastic protection. And it's like on the RCA label, except it's not. See, it's on Bowie, but these reissues are on Parlophone. So, yeah. The Parlophone reissues and stuff like that. This wasn't in the Who Can I Be Now box. And this did come out. Instead, it was given its own release as a 40th anniversary edition. It was released in 2016, so they got that on. But what do I think of the music? Well, you can be a perfect compilation, but not a perfect album. Then this would probably be a great selection of songs, and for them to go in chronological order. And does it do that? Yes and no. Well, you'll see what I mean. So this kicks off with Space Odyssey. The title of it, which is one of the alternate titles of his second album. Now, while his first album can be called Space Odyssey, it's gotten many names. And we'll just call this one Space Odyssey, because it's self-titled and he already has a self-titled album. Anyways, though, yeah, definitely a interesting song. It kicks off as the very side one, as the very first song of the album, which I do think is a bit weird. It makes sense, because then you'd kick things off with a serious bang. Oh! At the same time, it's kind of gloom. A bit of a joy to open an album like Space Odyssey Odyssey, especially given this was made in 1966, 69. So this was still when I think the idea of having the upbeat songs open it up and then having a gloom song close it was still a thing. Yeah, don't get me wrong, a gloom song to close it, that being Sidra Committee, which is a staggering 9 minutes. It's one of his longest songs, along with the title track, Station to Station. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, yeah, so Space Oddity. The guitar opening is very atmospheric. In a way, it kind of just gets you in. And then you hear those words that have defined a generation. Ground control to Major Tom. This whole structure of ground control to Major Tom or Major Tom to ground control has become a pretty big part of the song. Every verse starts with it. Nearly every verse starts with it. Afterwards we hear him go into space, along with a countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Then you hear some sound effects that are reminiscent of a spaceship. And then the song starts off with and adds strings to the mix, adding to the emotional beats already present. Afterwards, we get the somewhat chorus, I guess pre-chorus, for here the world is blue and there's nothing I can do. Afterwards, you get a nice little acoustic part. You get another beat. It doesn't go on for long as it quickly goes back into the song. Afterwards, Major Tom is stranded in space. You get the same exact thing that happened before, with the and then afterwards we end with some strange sounds. The song is 5 minutes. I kind of feels like that it does go on for a bit, especially considering most of it is some overly psychedelia. The psychedelia problem is a problem with most of it. Say inside Genetic Committee or Memory of a Free Festival. Well, even in Unwatched and this song. I do think this song is not bad. And obviously, it's a good opener to this compilation. And it makes sense because his debut wasn't all that good. So this can be considered his debut. It's been reissued more under multiple names, but it's now considered as what it was called to in the 1973 RCA issue, Space Oddity. Now, yeah, that was not a bad way to start. We're going to start with John Boy Dancing, a single. Yeah, it's only a single, so I can only use this as an example. Not a great song, and it actually goes out of the chronological order, seeing as it was a bonus track on Ziggy Stardust, implying it was from 1972 or 3. So it got that wrong. And also, the song isn't even that good. The echo effect is cool, but not that good. Though I did usually listen to this before I became a big fan. I'm not that big of a fan, but became someone who was connected to his music. This song just never appealed to me. And I think it could have been replaced with another song from one of his albums. That song is Man Who Sold the World, from his album with the same name. Okay, to be fair, it's not all bad though, but still, come on. Where's the love for Man Who Sold the World? That's all I have to say. When I spent most of it off screen, I was trying to grab this album. I imagine I will not try to do it again, but just to let you know, Man Who Sold the World is a great song, and I think it would still fit here. Although, to be fair, the compilation would be 48 minutes. We'd reach another can of worms. So I do see why it wasn't included, as well as also... But it already came out in RCA 3 years prior. It was released alongside the Space Oddity reissue. Though I because I imagine by that point these issues from Mercury didn't sell that well in the U.S. Most of Bowie's albums didn't sell that well, and his only album that ever reached number one, I believe, was either Let's Dance or Black Star, or maybe both reached the top 10. But all I'm saying, that song ain't that good. Cut it. Have Man Who Sold the World instead. Next off, we get the quote-unquote title track. It's called Changes. Obviously, you know about this song. It's obviously one of those classics. How do you get tired of that chorus? Changes. The song is just memorable. It sticks in your brain. And to be fair, it's not one of those songs that gets stuck in the mind, like an annoying car commercial or "What did you take me to? I can't tell." But it's still a earworm song, especially that chorus. The song makes sense, and I'm glad they didn't ditch the chronological aspect. But this also gives me another idea. Put this in place of John and Molly Dancing. Then put Life on Mars in this spot. Because Life on Mars is really good. And why didn't we have Life on Mars in any of these compilations? There wasn't a Changes 3. Yeah, we do have the Changes Now compilation, but it's more or less an unreleased tracks collection. And on vinyl, you need to get a pre-purchase for like $100 for Record Store Day. So yeah, Life on Mars isn't available, but this makes sense. It's huge. Everybody knows it. Do you know it? Do you know it? Do you know it? Do you know it? I'm sure you know it. Okay. What was I doing? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The sax at the end is actually really good as well. And it's a bit of a nice contrast from the more poppy songs. I mean, yeah, you got psychedelic poppy. Then you go to the rockier Ziggy Stardust. Now, Ziggy Stardust is the persona that he took on in 1972 and 73 during his tour for the album The Rise of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars. That's a mouthful. Anyways, though, yeah, that was his persona. And it became a pretty iconic persona, probably his most well-known, that's reached the most popularity over the years, especially during his tour with the Spiders from Mars. And overall, yeah, just this kind of, the song itself is, it has a bit more of a power chordy-esque guitar, like similar to, it's not really a punkish song, but it's more or less has a more bad attitude, especially in some of the verses. The song is practically about something I don't know what it's about. I think, because I still have not figured out the story behind Ziggy Stardust. I think it's something about how he dies at the end of the record and his hands are broken. Very sad. I think should we break his sweet hands? It's like, oh, give me your hands at the end of the album. Maybe it is, I don't understand. He's definitely a good storyteller. He does a storytelling on one of his albums, Diamond Dogs. I still don't understand because I don't understand this album. It's too hard to understand Ziggy Stardust. And then this brings us into Suffragette City. I played this song before in Rock Band. It's an absolute jam, by the way. I do have my drumsticks. I'm just not going to play. Especially just, there's so many cool parts of it. Especially that part I like in the end of the song. Glam, wham, thank you, man. Glam, bland, thank you, man. What was I doing? I don't understand. And to be honest, yeah. This is one of my favorite songs from the album. Yeah, so many good parts. I have a lot of stuff I could say. Like, first off, the riff friggin' kicks. And the sound during the riff, is awesome. It also kicks. A lot of kicking. This song is a kick. This song is a leg. This song is a leg to your face. It's awesome. Okay? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And, I mean, yeah. Really, what else do you need to say? About the song that has not been said. The song has become a classic, in my opinion. And honestly, I mean, this might become a song that's barely forgettable. It's not at all. And it makes sense to be a song that comes after it. As you end the song with a lot, but it's kind of interesting that this is like one of the last songs of the side. Because, well, this side kind of goes against the kind of general rules of an album in the 1980s. And where does it go against this? Let me tell you. Track 6, Gene Genie. This comes off of his somewhat really successful Aladdin Sane album, which came out which was when he like started his North American tour, and now on his first tour, and that was a very cool time. So yeah, definitely one of his best eras, especially with how iconic the cover is. Who doesn't know that picture of him with like a white outfit and like the white face paint and the lightning bolt? You gotta know it, right? Do you? And then, honestly, just wow, what a good song! Da-da! And if you have not seen him perform this song live, let me tell you, he definitely does a good job, to put it nicely. Just this overall, the art of it all is really something to admire. And yeah, you could always say, well, yeah, it's boring. And it kind of is a bit lengthy, 4 minutes. To be fair, I can't really handle 4 minutes, but let me tell you, if you can't handle the live shows, then he can do them for like 7 minutes. I believe it was one of the last songs he would commonly do in his live shows, such as for the Diamond Dogs tour or Station to Station tour. As it was the second to last song on the Diamond Dogs tour, and the last one on the Station to Station tour. I believe so, but these are only from specific performances. And yeah, it just kicks, it slaps, It's awesome. It's awesome. There we go. That was side 1. Did it break the laws of how you do a record? Yes. So you have something like Space Odyssey be the opener, and then you make something like Gene Genie be the last side on side A. That's not how it works. You would have it be the opposite. Okay, to be fair, the continuity is definitely appreciated. So I appreciate that. Now let's get into Diamond Dogs. So this song is 6 minutes on the original LP. Now on the original LP, was it good? Yeah, it came after Future Legend. One of the absolute most haunting songs ever made. It just has this awesome, futuristic feel. It's awesome, and I really appreciated it. And obviously, Diamond Dogs came after. The riff is awesome. So who does not like the Diamond Dogs riff? Da, 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 the song's just catchy as heck, and honestly, definitely a good way to open this side. It seems like they might actually obey my rules this time. They're getting close. So far this compilation has been awesome. A really good set. All you need is Life on Mars or Man Who Sold the World. One of those. I'd personally go with Man Who Sold the World. That's a better song. I'd just go with that instead of dancing. But you would also get a longer album and way less side fidelity. And I also need to remember this was 1970s, back when it was not. Okay, what was that? Getting out of to the way. Yeah, honestly, it's awesome. One thing I was confused about though is that it's the whole song, not even edits. It has the line that he says right after, and I cannot still say it at this point. Trying to be able to save YouTube. And then honestly, yeah, kicking song. But what's even more kicking? Rebel Rebel. Yeah, honestly, just who does not like Rebel Rebel? Just tell me. Who does not? If you don't like it, well, you're not right. Because I mean, you have your opinion, but Rebel Rebel is really good. Okay, yeah, the song it's just one of the most. It's fractured to be sing-alongable, like that. Like just hearing the sound, and then that drum beat. I have one drumstick. Do it for you. Just honestly, how do you not like it? It has a nice steady beat, and as it keeps going, you see it gets familiarized, but then as it goes up, it changes up. Like that. So yeah, bit of schooling on how do you make a very catchy song. Basic. And then complex. There you go. And that's how you make it cool. And then Rebel Rebel. So this one is the fourth transitions after technically transitions from the medley of Sweet Thing Candidate, Sweet Thing Reprise. And then there you go. Those three, then Rebel Rebel just starts out of the blue, no build up, just starts. In the context, I don't know where it comes from. David Bowie's albums were really good in terms of stories, but I couldn't get what the story was. They're just hard to tell. So yeah, good, but a bit hard to understand. Okay then, yep, we're almost done, but we have 3 more left. Now we get into the Un-Americans, and let me tell you, those opening notes are awesome. The British. I don't remember the lyrics to it. But honestly, yeah. This song is a more soul track. It goes more into the soulish direction. I mean, it's not one of the things I think of when I think soul. Kind of surprising. I would think more like Motown, Stevie Wonder, or something like that. Very superstitious, writing on the wall. Very superstitious, that's about to fall. But yeah, it's definitely really swingy, funky. Especially the saxophone. It's like in the chorus. She was a young American. Young American. He was a young American. How do you not forget something that cool, okay? How do you not? And it's just, wow, it's a really good song. Definitely makes sense that it's the second single off the Americans, so. To be fair, it makes sense, it was edited. It's way too long, it's 5 minutes. You got Space Oddity Syndrome. But why was it not the first? I have an answer. Fame makes magic things over. Fame. Yep, Fame. This is a technically a duet. Not one of the earliest, but one of the most iconic earlier duets. The song is a duet between David Bowie, we usually know that that's David Bowie, and John Lennon, most well known for his work in the Beatles. That's right, a Beatle on a David Bowie track. This is a concept you will see here and never again. I'm pretty sure, at least. It's not a very common thing because, well, why would you do that? Most of them had their own side bands, like Ringo had his all-star band. That was probably later, but still. George Harrison was in the Traveling Wilburys, which was later as well. But still, that was a big deal. Bob Dylan was in it. And, of course, Paul McCartney had the wins. And why did Paul... And, yep, Paul McCartney had the win. So John Lennon, he had... But he still appeared on this album. It was the same... Though it was the same year that rock and roll came out. So a bit interesting, but, still... It's hip, swinging, funky. A funkier soul elements. This is more of a soul or funk album. In this case, it's actually more for him, in my opinion, than, the Un-Americans was. Which it still is, but this one is a bit more obvious. It makes a lot of sense. This is one of his breakthrough songs. Pretty much everybody knows Fame. Such a nice song. But it's not the closer. Why? Well, this came on... Why would it not be the closer when it could work as a closer? Fame could work as a closer. Well, here's why. Golden Years. Yeah, Golden Years was the big single at the time. So obviously it makes sense to include Golden Years on this compilation. Golden Years. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Golden Years. It's honestly a better track than the Un-American stuff. Probably because I enjoy Safe in the Station a whole lot more. So yeah, honestly, it's way better. One of the songs that came out during his... Now, the song was made during his other persona that most people would know. The Thin White Duke. Now, the Thin White Duke is one that you might not see. But let me tell you, it was simple. He wore white clothes. That was a Thin White Duke. He's an evil person if you have the enough capacity to listen to the 10 minutes of him singing station to station. I forgot you do not. I'm sorry. But, I mean, yeah. It's just one of those incredibly infectious and catchy, memorable songs. Now, honestly, you might think that it's not that good. But, yeah, Station to Station was one of his better phases. Better than the Un-American solar phase, but, a decent phase, I think. He still did it still has that kind of soul, little funk of, like, Fame and the Un-Americans, but it's not as prevalent. It's very danceable, and it's a very good closer. So what did I think of Changesonebowie? It was really good. That's all I had to say. Listening to this album just transport you into the mind of David Bowie. It feels like you are David Bowie. You get a selection of songs that's so perfect. I wouldn't be surprised if Odyssey didn't even decide what could be on this compilation. Instead, it was David Bowie who decided what he would include on this compilation. Makes so much sense when you think about it. This album is recommendable. Now, if I recommend what to buy of this album, you should buy this present, I think. The 2016 40th Anniversary Edition. This album is a pretty bang-up replica. Apart from the inner sleeve just being a polylined one, the label, and the Portal Phone label. Other than that, it's pretty big. Now, if you excuse me, I am going to try and cover for something from Blackstorm. Look up here, I'm in heaven. I forgot the lyrics. Okay, but remember, like, subscribe to that. Oh my god, that was a lot. I'm gonna explain my rebel point again, by the way. So it's like, you know, this. Got your mother in a well. You're not sure if you're a boy or a girl. Hey, oh hey, it's 32 minutes. I was able to kill 32 minutes. Huh? Okay, bye.